name is Carl Wright. I live in St. George, Utah, and I want to tell you the story about my next door neighbor, Jack Simmons. I moved into our house about 5 years ago, and my neighbor kept looking over the fence. I coached baseball, and I had a 12-year-old team. And my backyard's set up so that we can play and practice baseball back there. And I kept seeing this little guy poke his head over the fence to see what we were doing. And my son Tanner, who was 8 or 9 years old at the time, went up and asked him who he was and what his name was. And that sparked a friendship that little did I know how much that would change my life and change our community. And so I met Jack, and I met his dad, John Simmons, and his mom, Amy Simmons. And I asked John if Jack would want to come over and to practice baseball with us. And he said hesitantly, I don't know if that's a good idea. I was like, well, it'll be fine. Let's just come over. Let's just see how it goes. He really doesn't, he really won't be in the way. We'll figure out something. And so first time Jack showed up to practice, John had got him his own baseball bag and a bat, and he was ready to go. And so we didn't quite know how it was going to work out for this first time around. But he fit right in with the boys. We had some amazing players on that team, and not just good players in the game of baseball, but they understood what their job was to welcome Coach Jack into it was Jack at the time, to welcome Jack onto our team. And as things progressed, Jack, he kept coming to practice. He kept participating with us and doing just being Coach Jack and making it great. And we took him to the first tournament, and he kept wanting to go out onto the field and play the game of baseball. And obviously he can't go play the game of baseball. So we came up with the idea. I think it was Scott Stevenson came up with the idea and said, like, well, what if we, instead of having him be a player, what if we treated him more like a coach? And it was one of the most inspired things that we ever did. And so we started to tell Jack that he was a coach instead of a player. And that changed everything. And so now he started acting like us as coaches instead of one of the players. And so instead of grabbing his bat and wanting to go out and hit when it was his turn, he would actually stay in the dugout, because that's what coaches did. Pretty soon he started giving signs. You know, I would call pitches, and he would stand behind me and he'd call pitches, and he'd come out to third base and he'd start giving signs, the steal signs, and things like that. And he started to become a coach. And that kind of took care of things from him wanting to go out onto the field, but he still wanted to be part of the game. And so one night I was laying in bed thinking of how we could help Coach Jack feel more part of the game and part of the team. And so after this thought came into my mind that we would have him hit the last, after the game was over, we'd let Coach Jack come up to bat, and he would hit a ball, and he would run the bases. And that turned into our tradition after every game. And it was amazing what happened when people saw Coach Jack hit his ball. And we would invite the other team to come out. We'd sometimes ask one of their players to pitch to him, or I would pitch to him, and he'd hit a ball and he'd run around the bases and everybody would cheer. And what we found out was that regardless of the outcome of the game, whether we won or whether we lost, everything just kind of went back to how it should be. And whether we won a big game or lost a big game, it didn't matter anymore. It just brought us back to reality about what life is really about, and that's serving other people and making other people's lives a little bit better. And as the teams that we played, caught on to what we were doing. The players got really excited about it, and now it's been this this big tradition that it's Coach Jack's turn to get up to bat, and he hits a home run, and everybody cheers, and it just resets everything, and it's an amazing thing. Coach Jack has hit more home runs than he can count. He has more baseballs than he can count. He's got a trophy full of baseballs because every time he hits a home run, usually the umpire will give him the baseball for his home run ball, and it's just become a really amazing thing. And what we have found, Coach Jack, when I first started when we first brought Coach Jack onto the team, I thought we were doing something good for Coach Jack. And then what I realized is that he started to change me as a person. And then he started to change our team. He started to change our parents. And then he started to change our opponents. And he's changed our community completely. And now he's a celebrity. He can't go any place in town without somebody knowing who he is. And what it's done, it's changed me. It's changed my family. And it's been a huge blessing in our life. Coach Jack is a unique individual, but I don't think he's that unique. What we have found, Coach Jack, we started to think about all these things. After the first baseball season was over, we'd had a great season, and it was time for the season to end. And Jack turned to his mom or his dad and said, "Dad, I'm so glad that I'm a coach." And which was a pretty incredible thing for a kid, for somebody like Coach Jack to understand and think about, that he was lucky to be a coach. And then the next morning he woke up and he said, "Mom," he told his mom, Amy, he said, "Mom, I did it." And she said, "What did you do, Jack?" And he said, "I grew up." And when he said that, John, his dad, it clicked in his mind that something that Jack had never experienced before in his life. Our society has not done a very good job of helping people with special needs. We do a great job up until high school, but after high school, there's really not a lot of programs or opportunities for kids with special needs to get out into the community. And what we found with Coach Jack is that he'd always been talked to. Jack has the maturity of about an 8-year-old. What we found is that when we put him in the role as a coach, it helped him grow up, because now he was in a situation where he was talking to other kids and giving them advice. And at the end of each practice, we gave Coach Jack the last word. And he would always say, "Hey, good job. You guys are doing great. You need to work hard. You need to have a good attitude and a good effort, and let's go and let's do better," and we gave him that opportunity to act like a coach. And so in his mind, he'd always been talked down to because he was a little kid. But putting him in a role as a coach actually helped him feel like an adult. And it helped him grow up in a way that I don't think he could have done it any other way. And I think our special needs community needs more of that. We need more people to embrace these special needs and give them opportunities to lead. Give them opportunities to lead others and to teach others. Although I was coaching the game of baseball to these young men, Coach Jack was teaching these boys about life, about how to be kind, how to not give up. He was teaching them what life was about. And he was the most valuable coach on the team. So if we as a society can rally together and find these individuals who with special needs and give them the opportunities give them opportunities to teach other people and to do things that they're passionate about. Coach Jack loves sports, and so his passion is obviously sports, and that's an easy one for me to fulfill. But Others with special needs may enjoy dance, may enjoy cooking, may enjoy rock climbing. I don't know, whatever it is, whatever their special needs, whatever they enjoy doing. I think we can take them and put them in a situation where they now lead these younger people, and put them in situations to help them feel like they are contributing to society instead of taking from society. It's been an incredible ride and an incredible journey, and it's not over. I'm excited to see where it goes from here.